Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ingus, I'm from IGS Electronics, and today in this video, I know it's been a while since I've been online and making any videos. It's purely because I just got lazy. But now it's time to get back into the grind, and we are going to start getting into something a bit more interesting than we used to do in the past. And you probably can see right behind me, we are going to be starting playing with the robots and trying to understand how robots work and how to use them, how to set them up, how to integrate them, and everything that is all about and need to know. This is where I personally started myself. That's why I personally purchased this robot, which is the Kawasaki's RS007 robot with F60 control. I'm not sure you can see it down here. It's right in our bottom, that the one I have. So we're going to go through pretty much everything from the start as a setting up. We're going to talk about all the connections in the back, how to connect everything up, and how pretty much in this video how to really build this system together, so we can pretty much really can start using it and testing it and starting to learn about it. I'm not going to pretend that I know much about the robotics and things like that. This is my first, not my first, this is actually my second robot I'm starting to play, but I really wanted to start getting into depth because the robotics is the future for pretty much any engineer. And hopefully you guys can join me in my journey of learning these guys. Everything I'm gonna learn, I'm gonna be showing to you. And obviously there's gonna be so many things that I'm gonna be doing. A lot of the more professional ones are gonna look at it. Oh, you could do this so much easier than this and easier than that. But this is how the learning will work. We go step by steps and trying to get our heads around it, how to really program and use the robotics. And in our case, specifically, we're going to be using Kawasaki's one, and how to really get this boy going and do things in your factory, whatever that is. And in short as well, to really explain that this guy is an industrial robot. This is not a cobot, so this is a high-speed industrial robot, so he can do pretty much things really, really fast. And obviously, we're going to have to be taking care of quite a bit of a safety. So again, all these things with IOs and how to make things up and close and how to use them, and one very important thing which a lot of people really struggle, it's the integrating into our existing control systems. And in my case, I'm going to be using Siemens. So Siemens is going to be something that we're going to be getting into a future videos. So do hopefully join me on these future videos that is going to be coming up, because I'm planning to make quite a lot, because I have personally quite a lot to learn, and hopefully you guys can learn with me and take that step to join in and really in the robotics world and really start jumping into them, because a lot of people find them really scary, because it is a scary thing to have, because there's a lot to know about and there's a lot to understand about them. And hopefully this video series is going to help you and definitely me to really cross that bridge and get ourselves going. So without further ado, first we're going to start seeing how to get this all set up and have a look at the back of the controller, how everything connects up, talk through about some of the connector blocks that we have in the back, and not all of them are fully explained in the manual. I explained the ones I understood, and in the future, once I get to them and I want to really find out what they are, I will make special videos for those, so you know what is what. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let's start with the front. My controller, I'm not sure I've seen it before. It's classed as being built for IP65 or 67, can't really remember correctly. And it's bigger than a normal because of it's got a radiator here at on the bottom, and it's got a bit more on the back. We're going to show you in a minute. So it's mainly just to protect all the connections and everything like that from water and things like that. So Kawasaki does offer this option. Obviously, you have to pay quite a bit extra for it, but there's an option to have a fully watertight controllers. So I've removed the back, a little bit on the back, and removed a little bit on the front as well, purely because I did not want those fans, because those fans, they sit inside the external block that I have in here. Look, somewhere in the back, somewhere down there. I took it off because it was too loud, so I don't need it, obviously, because I got no water around there. So let's go have a look at it. So we got 2 ports in here. So we got port 1, port 2. Both of those are RS232C ports for communications with the personal computer. We got 2 USB points in here, which are for loading data in and out of the controller. And also we have an Ethernet port down here, and that port is going to be classed as first port, but there's 2 ports for this controller, so this is port 1. So we have two like points in here. Those are there's a lot of options and extras the Kawasaki offers. We're going to have a look at them in the future, and these would be where those switches or buttons would go to if you would purchase extra options for it. Obviously we have teach repeats. Obviously we're going to check those out as we can start into a programming, and self-explanatory we got e-stop and well, isolator MCB in here. So having said that, so let's have a look at the back. Okay, so now let's look at the back. We're going to talk about all the channels that I have identified, and the ones I haven't, we most likely will catch up on it in the future. As you can see, I have unplugged everything. I've got all the plugs in here, so let's see a whole bunch in here, and very clearly what Kawasaki has done and is to label every single cable with the label, so you can't really go wrong as long as you follow the labels. And plus all the plugs in here really it's kind of dedicated, so you can't really plug them anywhere else. You can't really go wrong with it. So let's start with the motor cables. So you got motor A and motor B, so obviously that's a self-explanatory. That will run above the motors, so let's just make sure we are zooming in as we should do. We have a LAN 2 in here, which is a second port for Ethernet. We'll be using this one in most cases for uploads and downloads and all other things that we're trying to do. And XEX IO, I'm not sure what that is for. Again, couldn't find any information in the manual. So this one in here, XES, that is what they called a hardwire dedicated signals. So these we'll be using later on as well for e-stops and hold and motor ons and things like that. And then we have a XGPIO. So this is a general IO. So it basically comes with the where's that plug of mine? So the plug like that. So something that you will need to solder yourself as you connect IOs for talking backwards forwards for the robot or control systems that you have, unless you use a field bus for it. So again, we're going to talk about those in future. XSW, that one as well wasn't very clearly explained, but it says external operation panel cable. I'm not sure what that means. Again, we'll need to talk to Kawasaki about it, so they can give me a better explanation what it is. And then we have this one in here, which is a XTP, basically TeachPad. So this is where you would connect your TeachPad. And then we also have, we zoomed in, let's double check, just click on it, yeah. Then we have a XR signals, so basically this is for robot arm signals. And XALS, so that one down there, again, I couldn't really get a good explanation for it, what it was. I will leave that one out, not sure what that does. And so is this one, so it kind of explains that there's something to do with emergency, external emergencies, but then is that guy's doing for? Again, I'll need to get a bit more details about these. Then we have in here XRBRK. So that one is motor brakes, and this one in here you can buy an external unit where you are able to release the brakes of the motors again for maintenance purposes. But you have to buy, I believe you have to buy a special box for that one. So again, we'll see if we can check that out sometimes in the future. And obviously we have this power cable. Hopefully that is more or less covered in it. Oh yeah, this one in there is X, A and B. It's basically any bus port. So Kawasaki use these specific controllers, and I think all the controllers are using any bus cards for different types of communications. This guy in here pretty much supports any type of communication that you want to do with your field bus units. So starting from Profinet, Profibus, EtherCAT, and Profinet IO, Ethernet IP, and things like that, and on and on and on. So it's pretty much, this is where you would buy a specific card for your needs for your control systems. and you can plug it in and set yourself up. Again, we'll be looking at in the future for Profinet, obviously. So I think I have covered pretty much everything. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to plug everything back in, and then we're going to have a look at the back of the robot as well. Okay, so for the robot arm itself, so we have pneumatic valves that are actually built inside the head. So we have all three of them in here. So we're going to be checking them out, how they work and what their functionalities are and how to set them up in the future videos. We have another connection in here, which I'm still waiting to confirmation from Kawasaki what that is and what I need to do to connect it to it and what exactly is meant for. So that's pretty much really it for it. We'll talk about the axis and things like that, the overall axis in the future videos. And because on the back I can't drag my camera in the back due to my cable length, we have a quick look at a picture. So for the back, as you can see in here, we have just one plug and couple of air connectors in here, which is we got exhaust, air, and then we have a purge as well. We're gonna check them out in the future if we come to use them in some form of application. This plug in here, this black one in here, I'm not really sure what that is for. It's a RJ45 connector. Don't know what that is yet, and again I will confirm in the future from Kawasaki if they're willing to give me that information to tell me what that is for, and I will relay it back to you guys. And that's pretty much it there, ladies and gentlemen, for the first video. Hopefully I have run the general gist of how all the connections and things like that, a little bit about the robot itself, and pretty much this is kind of starting point is where we are getting everything connected up and ready to work. In the following videos, we're going to check out the we're going to power it up. We're going to see learn how to jog and have a quick look at the guy down here, how to use it for the basic joggings and things like that, so we can get ourselves familiarized which axis is which and start testing them. So, and then obviously as we progress, we're going to start getting into softwares and things like that. So that will do for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoy it. Do subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.